What is a 15-minute city? So come on in, let me show you what a 15-minute community looks like.
Well, I'm excited to see.
What is a 15-minute city? So come on in, let me show you what a 15-minute community looks like.
Well, I'm excited to see this, Randy, because you always bring.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. They don't wanna see me care. Anytime I make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up, cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Hey, you know what? I know why he'll be arrested. For his own protection.
We are arresting you for your own protection, sir. But he hasn't actually said where in Wakefield he's going.
He said he's going to do it in a public space.
In a public park, I think. Yeah.
He didn't say park, he said a public He said in a public, what was it called? Square. In a public square. That's what he said.
But I think what he was intentionally vague there, so that he wasn't met by police. Although you know as well as I do that either he's just going to be refused entry to the UK, because that is very possible. That's happened to people. Brittany Venti, I believe Lauren Southern, even for simply saying Islam is gay or Muhammad is gay. I think she had on a sign. She was then banned from the UK.
Well, remember, you got to remember. I mean, the religion does give you an out for shagging goats. It literally gives you an out. Hello.
Well. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Ben. How are you?
And good evening, the rain at John's place.
What? It's like I tweeted yesterday. I've been counting back, and it might be time to start building. Time to start building that ark.
Well, I think you could be right, my friend. I think you could be right, because Jesus Christ, does sound like it's getting a bit floody up there. And you were just having snow the other week, weren't you?
Yeah, but it's not floody. No, needs more rain than that.
No? I mean, it does sound biblical.
So you were right. He got banned.
Yep.
Banned from entering the UK.
Banned from entering the UK. If I had a party popper, and I wish I did, what we've basically got to do. What are you doing?
I'm just hiding anything that might give my address away.
Oh, okay. But yeah, if I had a party popper, I'd be setting it off. But what we need is, you know, your little buttons. We need something you can press. We can press a button and the scene just flashes up. We were right.
Yeah,
because we need this.
Yeah, I could do that.
We need this.
I will do that. I will make that. I will make it so.
Make it so. What the JP here says, we do not have blasphemy laws in the UK, but we actually do. And you know what? I think that's kind of a correct assertion, because I said in that. No, you come on. Technical difficulties wouldn't be Chasing Dissent without it.
It's not the same. It's not the same when you don't have technical difficulties. There you go. And then, when the technical difficulties, a person working the computer, then what chance have you got?
Well, yes, but what we've got to understand here is, like I said, this has already happened before. If you saw that clip just before the show came in, this has already happened before to Brittany Venti and to Lauren Southern, and I imagine many others as well.
Yeah, who
have been banned entry to the UK for speaking out against or even satirizing a certain religion.
Yeah, now, I mean, even what's his name? Remember, Graham? David Icke got banned from going to Australia, didn't he? And Europe.
Austria.
Was it the Netherlands?
It was Austria. It was just very recently, yes.
And he got banned from Australia as well, I'm sure. So
he's probably banned from pretty much everywhere, to be honest, just for being who he is. So you see on the screen here, we were talking in the last show about this Danish politician, Rasmus Paludan. Now the BBC here have obviously called him a far-right leader. I don't know if that's true. I don't know much about him, to be honest. So I couldn't begin to assert what his politics are. What I can say to you is he made a statement that he was going to come to Wakefield in support of the young boy who scuffed his own Quran and basically got death threats to the point his mother stood up in a kangaroo court and apologized on his behalf and begged him not to hurt him. Yeah. Right? But at the same time, this guy has now been banned, been denied entry to the UK. Because he said he was going to go and burn his own copy of the Quran in Wakefield. I don't understand this.
What don't you
don't understand it. What I don't understand is how we can have a government that continuously extols the virtues of free speech, but How can people not see through this
they don't extol the
argument?
They don't extol the virtues of free speech. They've done nothing but shut it down.
Did you not hear what I said? They extol the virtue of free speech, but
yeah, I know, but they don't even pretend to extol the virtue of free speech now. They just shut it down at every opportunity.
Yeah. Now, whether or not I agree with this guy's method of protest is completely void. It's null and void. It doesn't matter because it's his protest, and if he wants to protest how the hell he likes, as long as he's not physically harming anybody else, I don't see what the issue is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. I don't have to agree with his. I don't have to agree with his protest. Apparently, Active Patriot was visited by the police for retweeting him.
See, what the hell is that? What the hell is that?
It's for police.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. That's Minority Report. It's pre-crime.
Absolutely, and it's terrifying. By the way,
it's preposterous, my son. That's what it is.
It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying because we do have a government that will stand there and say on TV, free speech is important, but well, if there's no but, free speech is not important.
No.
Now, don't, and I know trolls are watching tonight, and I know harassers are watching tonight, so don't even dare try and say what we're meaning is that we're fully agreeing with bad speech or things that are, repugnant. That's not what we're saying here. We're saying people should have the right to say those things, and we should have the right to call them twats.
Yeah, I mean, you should certainly have the right to your own opinion, and you have the right to challenge other people's opinions.
Absolutely.
Whether they're right or wrong is up to them, and it's our show, so we're right.
Well, we do seem to be right quite a bit, and that's just the way it is. That's, I guess, because we have analytical minds.
Ben's face is indeed bald.
I didn't want to bring any attention to it. I saw the comment.
Why didn't you want to bring attention to it?
Because you just need to just look at it, look at the beauty, move on.
Okay. Right. Hey, shall we move on?
Simple.
Shall we move on to the intro? Shall I introduce the show?
Yeah, basically, I think it could be time for you to do that.
Pay attention here, people. Pay attention.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, I'm a bit scared. Here we go.
Surprised.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
I'd like to thank you one and all for attending this episode 209 of Chasing Dissent Live. 209. Here we go.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
What'd you think of that? I know it was shit. I know it was shit work, but
it was very nice to meet you in Kremlin today, John. Very nice to meet you.
I just thought it was funny. What a place! What a place that guy works in. That's incredible, isn't it?
Works in.
Oh, the Kremlin,
probably.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, the place is just immense. Absolutely impressive.
It is.
Better than, have you ever been to the White House? You've seen the White House?
Not in person, no.
It's teeny ditchy. It's not big.
A lot of it's underground, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but even well, there are underground parts to it and tunnels and things. But even well, as Mr. Clinton will certainly testify, that's how he got the girls in, didn't he? Anyway,
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, John. I didn't do it.
Right.
Apparently, I looked terrified.
Well, it's just a picture. It was a laugh. I might keep it there. It's good.
Yeah, he's been bugging me all day. Send me a picture. Send me a picture. And I was like, what for? Oh, you'll see you later.
Took me ages to do that, and it's not even that good. It takes ages to do that kind of shit.
It made me break down in laughter the second those fucking doors opened.
I know.
Before we do move on to our first proper story of the night, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've got nearly 4 times the viewers we do likes. What the hell? What the hell, man? John, get the boys.
Well,
get the boys on the phone.
We'll just get the Russians boys round.
Hey, Dad, you don't need Russians. My friends, they're bodyguards. I get them. I send the bodyguards. I send the bodyguards, Dad.
We'll start with the Spetsnaz. Right, here we go. So, and the first one goes to POTUS. POTUS. President Biden tweets today. There's no way this guy's writing this because he doesn't have a clue.
He doesn't have a clue what day it is.
The greatness of a nation isn't just measured by the strength of its army, the vastness of its geography, or the size of its economy. It's also measured in the vitality of culture. Whoa, hold on. A democratic culture forged in the ability to speak and think freely. Now, this guy...
He's not wrong.
This guy has no concept of the word irony.
I was going to say, he's not wrong in the history, perhaps, of the country being forged in the ability to speak and think freely, but it's something that him and his government are very much trying to take away from people.
Yes, indeed, and there's quite a few. There's quite a few trying to do that in the lines of government. I mean, our friend Guy, Guy has tweeted.
Guy Verhofstadt.
Yes.
Putin's a polling. No, I was going to do that in a Russian accent. No,
German.
We want to do it in the German accent. Yeah.
German.
Putin's appalling legacy now includes turning Russia more and more into a Chinese vassal state. Yeah, Europeans must make sure Xi's support for Russia's genocide has cost. Instead of China's peace plan, we need a fully free and sovereign Ukraine. Yeah.
So what Guy's saying is, peace is bad, war is good. That's what he's saying.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he's just said.
No. What he's saying is, peace is good if we and America are the ones to
No, he hasn't said that at all. He's said...
But that's reading between the lines,
no,
right?
You can read between the lines all you like, but what he said is what he needs right now is war and not peace. That's what he said in that statement. The guy's off his freaking trolley.
But he's an unelected European leader.
Well, he's not unelected. He's a member of the European Parliament.
Is he actually elected?
Yeah, he's an MEP, so he would be elected.
Still an arsehole, though.
Oh, he's still an arsehole. He's not one of the bureaucrats that makes a policy. They're unelected. They're appointed. So all he can do is veto policy.
That's there really 50 slides in this show tonight?
And it's just as well that all he can do is veto policy. Can you imagine if this guy was making it up? Right, what were you saying there? I missed that.
I said, is there really 50 sharp slides in this show tonight?
Yeah, there is. So keep
better drink the go-go juice at night.
So from Alex, who now I can see his tweets again because Twitter no longer thinks I'm in Germany anymore because Alex is banned in Germany. Well, he's not allowed to tweet in Germany. So if you're in Germany,
you were in Germany for a time though.
Well, for some obscure reason, Twitter thought I was in Germany, but I have been in Germany, but Twitter thought I was in Germany like 3 days ago and I couldn't see Alex's tweets.
Ladies and gentlemen, what John actually did do is he hopped in the van, he hopped down to Dover, quickly jumped the channel, drove up to Germany, went to Lidl for a beer run, and then filled up the van and hightailed it back to Scotland. Record time, I might add.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. So anyway, thanks to the worst nightmare that is occurring right in front of them as the US becomes weaker and dissolves into a multipolar world, Russia strengthening its ties with China. Yeah, well, what have you done? You've forced Russia to make ties with people that aren't going to abide by European sanctions. So
yeah,
all you've done is force a country with massive natural resources into bed with another country with a massive labour and production force. I mean,
and what people,
what?
I warned about this.
It's a marriage made in heaven, isn't it?
But I've warned about this over and over and over again, right? I've said to people, we outsource basically our lives to China.
Yeah,
everything, pretty much, we all have around us right now. Mm-hmm. They control the products that you have, and they can cut them off at any minute if they feel like it. They could cut off all of their production for you. They could cut off all of their deliveries to you. And
before you go and say things like all the stuff made in China is shite, remember China makes things like Cisco equipment. It makes things like iPhones and MacBooks and all that. It makes a lot of the PCs.
Stuff made in China is shite.
Sorry? Yeah.
All the cheap stuff made in China is shite.
Some of it. But some of it's not. Some of it's actually okay.
Shalini says, not my candles. And that's basically all you'll have left.
4 candles.
or if you are our good friend Egg the Techie, who is returning to the channel next Thursday night, 4 Vlandels.
So check out Medvedev and Lavrov in the background.
They're going, we're about to make lots of money.
I wonder what Biden's saying, right? I wonder what Biden is saying right now.
It's not even them two, right? If you actually look at Xi and Putin in this picture, they have both got shit-eating grins on
they're
their
both
face.
smirking. That's a definite smirk. Yeah.
They know exactly what they're doing.
Of course they do. Of course they do. I mean, that's to think. And the Americans are in such a tizzy over it. They really are. They're like shitting the bed. They really are.
I was going to say, despite the fact that he's an absolutely terrifying psychopath, Vladimir Putin's really small, isn't he?
He is small, but they all are.
He's very little.
All these guys are. They've all got small man complex. You know, they've all got the massive chip on the shoulder, and they've got to overperform to make up for their small stature.
I mean, I'm just going to say it. Xi Jinping looks like fucking Andre the Giant next to him.
Yeah, I know. And here's a tip for you people. See if you're ever confronted by a group, right? A group of guys,
hit the biggest one first.
Yeah, go for the big one. See if you go for the big one. The big one will step back in amazement because nobody ever goes for the big one, right? So you go for the big one first, he steps back in amazement, and the rest of them all go, this guy's a nutter because he's going for the big one.
Yeah.
Whereas you go for the little one, you're going to get fucked because the little one is as hard as fucking nails.
Yeah, always, yeah. Well, unless you're in an Indiana Jones movie, then the little one starts doing all that capoeira bullshit and Indy just shoots him.
Well, yeah. But
let's move on anyway.
That's not real life, is it?
Aldo here says Medvedev is the heir to Putin. Russia's ex-president Medvedev threatened to target Haig. He did, didn't he? Yeah. 1 week he's threatening Lindsey Graham.
So they talk about getting rid of Putin. Now, what would happen if they did? Because this guy's like a loose cannon.
Isn't this the same guy who said a few months ago, the first place we would bomb is London?
Well, no, this is the guy. Well, yeah, he did say that, but he also said, did he not say we could drop a hypersonic missile in the Atlantic and create a tsunami that would just take the UK right off the map?
He's threatened a lot of people, put it that way. There's been a lot more scary rhetoric coming out of this guy's mouth than out of Vlad's, right?
Yeah, Vlad's quite easygoing compared to this guy.
No. I completely disagree, actually. Vlad's the type of fucking person who sits there and makes it look like he's easygoing while he actually sits there and presses the button, looking the other way and smiling.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay.
That's the type of person Vlad is.
But then you get the idiots that are the US, and they're still at it. They're still trying to provoke the States, aren't they? So, I mean, this is like the Aldo show at times. But Russian fighter jets scrambled to intercept 2 US nuclear bombers. So they're...
What?
They sent 2 B-52s into the Baltic, over the Baltic Sea, which is the one between Sweden and... the one where the Nord Stream is, right? Not the Black Sea, the Baltic, which is pretty damn close to Russia again. You know, it's just across the other side of Finland. So, I mean, and these things are nuclear capable. They can fire cruise missiles and all that. So the Russians, of course, are doing the same thing now. They're putting up their Tu-95s, the Bears, and they're flying them over as well. So you remember, they used to do it all the time with the UK. We used to go up and intercept them. That's why they built the Lightning, because it could get off the ground and do vertical climbs and get up to intercept them really quickly. So now we're back to Cold War dramatics, because the Americans will not let it fucking go. Because they are. You know, America is the exceptional nation. No one can take a shit without passing it through America first.
And if you take too long doing that, we're gonna come deliver you some freedom.
Oh, definitely, and there you go. Because Anthony Blinken, Secretary of Defense for the United States, Iran's UAVs destabilize the Middle East. You think it's Iran that's destabilizing the Middle East? Really?
I do. Well, I think that the Iranian government do have a lot to answer for what they're doing for their own fucking people.
Well, but the Iran and Saudi have just signed a peace treaty.
Oh, great. And that's going to stop them killing women who just want to not wear scarves, right?
That's nothing to do with stabilisation of the Middle East. They're not starting any wars. Iran's not starting any wars in the Middle East.
I say they're starting them on their own people, but then that's just...
Yeah, but that's not destabilising the Middle East.
Okay.
America's destabilising the Middle East because they're in there throwing their dick about again, aren't they? I mean, what is it with America? It is the exceptional nation. You cannot do anything without running everything by America and letting them have their cut. And
listen here, John.
What?
You're talking a bit too out of turn there, John. We're going to have to come deliver you some freedom.
Yeah, probably, yeah. And they're still at it, aren't they? They're still at it because what they're doing now? They're having the first permanent garrison in Poland, right? So they've already got
10,000 troops.
I think they've already got 8 garrisons in the permanent garrisons in Europe, and then they're going to stick another 10,000 troops in Poland. Why?
Yes.
Right on Russia's border.
You know why.
Because they want to poke the bear. They want to poke. They're poking the bear.
And they want to get to delivering that freedom.
And they're overextended. They've lost it. I have no idea what they're intending to do. And then, of course, the UK, being the shitty little nation it is, has to do something to try and get some attention, right? So what do? Oh, we're sending Zelensky depleted uranium ammunition, right? Which then again, everybody fucking misconstrues it because it's not a nuclear weapon. It's depleted uranium. It's just basically a heavy metal that's built into a tank round called a sabot. Now, what's Zelensky going to use to fire this ammunition? Because you can't fire this out of Russian tanks, which is what the Ukrainian army had, right? You can only fire this out of your Leopards or your Challengers or your Abrahams.
Which you haven't been delivered yet.
Yeah. So what's the point? It's just more bullshit from the UK.
I'd like to address the chat, and before I do address the chat, I want to ask if Greta is on the list.
Why? What's Greta done?
Well,
no, she's not on the list.
Harold says, are you going to talk about Greta getting an honorary doctorate in theology?
No, I'm not really. I mean, these things are handed out like toffee. They gave 30 of them away the other day. What's the point? It doesn't make any difference.
How do you think Bill Gates likes to try and get away with being a doctor?
Well, he's not a doctor.
Exactly.
I mean, the whole thing's. I mean, it's what a load of pish, really. I mean, what's the point?
Zelensky is obviously going to fire those missiles out of his bare ass.
They're not missiles; they're shells,
or rockets, or shells. They're going to be fired from his, because he is the warrior king, as people like to sort of perceive him as these days. I'm going to go to the front lines. I'm going to bend over and fire the shells myself.
The only good thing about the Oscars is they continue to refuse to let him speak.
And I know.
That's about the only good thing about the Oscars.
He spoke to, was it the Golden Globes he spoke to? Or no,
and
it was the
Grammys.
music one, wasn't it?
What was
the
the Grammys?
Yeah. And he spoke to Glastonbury, remember that? He spoke to the hippies in the fields.
Yeah, I think he might have been at the Golden Globes as well, but, at least the Oscars are turning around and going, no, we're not political, fuck off. And you're not a decent enough actor. You're not a decent enough actor to come to the Oscars.
Listen, hello Glastonbury. I know you're all high on LSD right now and think I am the bear from Masha and the Bear. But I would just like to talk to you.
He's a fucking twat. So, and talking about idiots, right? Here's the guy that has just single-handedly made Poland the butt of everybody's joke. How stupid can you be? How utterly stupid can you be?
Mm-hmm.
Duda goes, Poland will be forced to enter war if Kiev fails to defend itself.
Well, so yeah, if Kiev can't defend itself, Poland will jump in and go.
Why would Poland be forced to enter the war?
Well, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't. Poland would choose to enter the war.
They choose to enter the war, yes.
Poland don't like Russians. Fine.
And
I'm surprised you like Germans.
It wasn't Russians that killed 2 of your fucking citizens.
No, you're right.
Every news outlet said it was, but it wasn't.
Ukraine killed 2 Polish civilians.
It may well have been by accident, but it was. And that
it's a
fucking
stretch.
sleazebag sitting there going, Russia has killed Polish citizens. You must nuke them now.
Yeah, and it's a stretch. It's a stretch to say it was an accident because the Russians are over here and the missile went over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
the missiles. Yeah.
But it was an accident, John. You remember that. It was an accident.
Yeah. And they're all at it. They're all at it. Here's the Dagny here as well now. I mean, she's got a few tweets in here as well. So, advisor to the head of the office of Vladimir Zelensky said any attempt to freeze the conflict in Ukraine and ceasefire would mean an unfinished war in Europe. Well, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if the war's finished or not. Why do you want to kill more people? Why do you want to prolong it? Why do you want to keep going? I mean, where's the end game here? Where's the benefit? Because Ukraine can't win this. Can't win it. If you go to the table now, you might retain something. But if you don't go to the table now, your army will be wiped off the face of the earth and Putin will take at least half the country. At least half. He'll certainly hang on to all the east. And Hungary,
there's no benefit to anybody.
But then, of course, Hungary, they're stirring the pot. See, this is the start of the breakup in NATO, isn't it? Because you saw that when that clown Biden blew up the Nord Stream, and let's not take any cognizance of these ridiculous stories about, I mean, this isn't
a just businessman hiring a boat.
Yeah, this isn't an act of terrorism. This is a military planned operation at depth, right? At depth on a shielded pipeline, 2 shielded pipelines, right? Because there's 2 of them. They're the pipeline itself, and then they're covered in a concrete shield. So you've got to have enough explosive, and you need to know what you're doing to punch through that and break them both, right?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't somebody on a fucking yacht with a scuba set and some fireworks.
Look, this is like we spoke about this, and these leaders sometimes they say the quiet part out loud, and Joe Biden very much said the quiet part out loud on TV when he said if they do this, there will not be a Nord Stream 2.
He said it in a press conference.
And then when asked further how that would be happening, he said, "Trust me, we will be able to do that." Now, I don't think it's a stretch of the imagination, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just going to make a comparison here for stretches of the imagination, and I'm going to choose my words carefully, shall we say.
Yeah.
So the man that says we're going to be able to do that, and then that happens, right? Don't look at the level 4 biosecurity lab over here where we were doing that exact thing. Look at this market.
No. Distraction. Look over there.
John, the stream's down. Oh, we're back.
No, stream never went down, mate.
It did. It said the stream will end soon. It went down. It's back up now.
Where did it say that?
I'm watching the studio screen.
Okay. Well, so am I, and it just says excellent connection. That's weird.
Anyway. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I'm getting that right now.
How can that be?
It went down for Harold a bit as well. 2 seconds. Well, let's just continue and keep it going. People are saying, yeah, it froze a bit.
Fucking shite.
Yeah, this must be the YouTube system, because I'm assuming it's not your OBS.
It's got to be YouTube, because, I mean, I've still got, 50 meg up here.
Oh, that's really good. So yeah, YouTube must be glitching up a bit. But anyhow.
Right. Hungary, which is part of NATO, but Orban's not really that keen on them, is he? Is it Orban in Hungary? Yeah. So Hungary will not support any significant movement of Ukraine towards NATO and the EU until the rights of the Transcarpathian Hungarians are restored. So Hungary's wanting their bit. See, everybody can smell blood in the water now. So Poland, you know why Poland wants to go to war against Russia? Because it wants the west half of Ukraine. Because it used to be Polish. Remember the video I did? Ukraine just used to be everybody's. It's like the cheap girl that gets passed around at parties and ends up shagging the dog. I mean, it's just everybody's had a bit of it, and nobody really wants it anymore.
That was too much. That was too much, John. That was just too much.
Sorry, I forgot. It's not Friday night. I'm not used to it night time. It's Friday night all in.
I get that, but come on, man. Come on. Show some decorum, goddammit.
No, I won't show decorum. In fact, that was something that was good. I was thinking about it. I was watching something last night about decorum. And it was like that clown, Corinne Jean-Pierre. Did you see this? Did you see the black guy? Oh my God.
On the train?
No, in the press conference, in the White House press conference. No. He's part of the White House press corps. He's been there for 8 years.
Right.
And she's never called him out. She's never answered one of his questions. He says, even when it's about Africa, he's an African guy, right? Even when it's about Africa, she won't listen to me. She won't call me out. None of them will call me out, right? And he says she won't meet me, she won't answer my questions, and she said that she'll maybe meet him next year, and he went apeshit in the press conference. It was good. It was good.
We are on slide number 13 of 50.
Yeah.
And we best start motoring through this show.
No, we're doing fine. We're doing fine.
We're doing fine. It's all fine. So Spartana here says once.
No, it's Alex. This is Alex.
What?
Alex.
Oh, yeah, but Spartana.
Spetsnav. That's Spetsnaz.
Is that what it says? I can't read that.
Spetsnaz. It's just been written funny.
I should probably start wearing my glasses again.
Possibly, if you wish to read the slides.
Yeah, it might be a good idea.
Right, read it out.
Anyhow.
Can you read it out?
Once Bakhmut falls, we shall see how good the Ukrainian command is. Ukraine has been surviving on 7 years plus of fortifications. It's mostly broken now, meaning they will have to fight without a lot of cover. Till the last Ukrainian, they say. Well, before you say anything, John, I would say to those people who could quite possibly become the last Ukrainian, tell Zelensky to fuck off.
But they can't. They can't. The problem is these people are getting hiked in off the street, right? They've been given like 2 weeks training. They get to the firing range. They get 2 magazines worth of ammo. They shoot that off. They get a bit of green tape put around their arm, and then they get sent to the front line to bolster, you know, the units that have been decimated by the, you know, by the war that's occurring in Bakhmut, and then right. So he's right. Alex is right here. The Ukrainians have been fortifying, and since the war started in February, they've been digging trenches and things. This is like the First World War. This war, you know, they're digging trenches, and both sides are lobbing artillery at each other. That's all they're basically doing, because you can't use tanks. This is the thing about tanks. You can't use tanks there just now because it's too freaking muddy. So you can't go off the road. So as soon as you go off the road, your tank sinks into 10 feet of earth, and you can't get anywhere. So they didn't get a hard freeze in the winter, so they couldn't use tanks then. So they're going to have to wait till May or June before they can use tanks, because they need the earth to dry out. And the problem you've got is the Russians are sending 80,000 shells a day into the Ukrainians. And the Ukrainians are firing back with 8, if you're lucky, 8,000. Right? So it's a very one-sided war. And the problem is Ukraine has got no defence in depth. So you've got the Russians now have 3 lines of logistics behind them. They've got their front line, their secondary, and then they've got all the logistics all there ready to push forward. So when they start moving forward, they've got the support and they've got the defence in depth. So even if you push through the first line of Russian attack, then you've still got another line to get through. And by that point, Ukraine's got nothing because they've got no supplies. Nothing's coming through. I mean, UK's run out of ammunition. America's run out of ammunition. Europe's run out of ammunition. And we can't make it fast enough to supply them to give them a fighting chance. So Ukrainians are no better or no worse than Russians at fighting. In fact, they might even be slightly better. But they have no chance, because they're not going to have the supplies, they're not going to have the ammunition, and they are going to die. And it's a tragic thing to say, but that's what's going to happen. There is no chance of Ukraine winning this war. They need to get to the negotiating table right now and save what they can.
The only chance that Ukraine has at winning this war is if our leaders start properly swinging their dicks about. And
but that's not Ukraine. That's not Ukraine winning the war.
I know that. But that's how they would call it, wouldn't it? They'd say it was the Ukrainian victory. They would.
Well, they might, but the Yanks probably wouldn't. But there's no.
Speaking of Ukraine,
America can't muster the resources to walk in there now. They've sent all the ammunition, and Zelensky spunked it all. So what are they going to do? I mean, the Americans can't make ammunition fast enough.
No,
and Russia's on a wartime footing. They're running their production facilities 24/7, all 3 shifts, and it's go. So what are they going to do?
They're that conveniently placed 10,000 man garrison in Poland.
Yeah, but it's only men. It's only men.
Yes.
And men are no use without equipment and without artillery cover to back them up.
And, you know, they had loads and loads of lovely equipment they just left in Iraq. Just left it there.
How many billions did they leave in Iraq?
God knows. But now the Taliban just joyride around in their helicopters until they crash, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. You remember they hung a guy? They hung a guy from a helicopter.
I mean, we shouldn't laugh, but...
No.
That's what happens, right? And I mean, this.
And then now you've got your favourite other Asiatic country, haven't we?
I don't. Yeah. Well, all I can say about this, like, if you haven't put it on screen yet, right?
Yeah.
All I can say about this from Andrew Lomax, who's a new fan of the show, and we really do appreciate your enthusiasm, shall we say? He says he's tagged John here, and he said, "Springtime push for peace. Is this Japan finally coming out as a loud and proud suicidal vassal?" No, what this is Japan's Prime Minister going, "Oh, I am the only one who has not yet had a photo opportunity." That is it. That's all it is. He's gone to get his photo op, hasn't he? Mm-hmm. Everyone, they all go to get there. Bono turns up and fucking Angelina Jolie turns up. Madonna's on her way. Fucking, they all want to get their picture with this cokehead. I mean, with this guy. That's all this is. I am going to get my photo opportunity.
Right, shall we move on?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, okay, let's so we've got this tweet from Nanny D and he's referencing Kim.com. I should actually have sent this to Kim.com as well. So, have your mind blown. The International Criminal Court prosecutor Karim Khan, who charged Putin with war crimes for evacuating children from a war zone, has his convicted paedophile brother Imran Khan released from a UK prison on a reduced sentence 1 month ago. Do you remember this guy, the Tory MP?
I do.
So he's out now. So there's another pedo back in the community.
Yeah, but the complete irony of the situation, just the complete irony of the situation.
I know.
You don't. There's not really much more to say. It's one of the most ironic situations I think I've ever fucking seen. Right.
I put the next one in for you to explain this, Ben. And it's again from Aldo, right? So this guy says the Bank of England's doing it wrong. What do you think?
Well, the Bank of England are always doing it wrong. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The Bank of England are always doing it wrong, but then at the same time, the Bank of England aren't fully to blame because they are kind of acting upon government policy, and government policy says we are going into a time of major austerity right now, essentially, right? They don't really call it that, but we're entering a cost of living crisis, and this here I actually disagree with. Well, slashing interest rates to 3% is probably a good idea, but printing £50 billion. No.
They're not used to call that quantitative easing, and that really worked.
Yeah, quantitative easing.
Time. Yeah, that
I mean, that's worked. What they. How do you think furlough existed, right?
Yeah,
furlough
exactly.
existed for quantitative easing, and not just furlough, but the £36 billion for the NHS test and trace and all of that. That would have been via quantitative easing. And let me just give you the very.
How can you spend £36 billion on an app that doesn't work?
No. They didn't spend 36. So that £36 billion didn't just encompass the app. It was all of the test centres, all of the tests, all of that rolled into it.
Let's go back.
So a bunch of tents,
right?
Basically.
So let's go back to just explaining how.
And they hired those tents as well,
right? So
yeah. So quantitative easing is.
So remember,
but
remember. If you had 1 million seconds, that would be 11 days. Okay. If you had 1 billion seconds, that would be 32 years. That's the magnitude of difference that you're talking here. Now, they spent £36 billion on
what? No,
I
think no. Because, like I say, right. Let's look at this
saying
logically.
No. It sounds ridiculous. Just say no.
But
once.
Let's look at this logically. All of the tents and everything, they were hired by Sunbelt Rentals, right? They weren't. The government didn't purchase these, and it would have actually been much cheaper, I would have thought, for the government to purchase all of these marquees than to continually hire them month on month from Sunbelt Rentals. I'm just saying. But what happened was heads of companies like Serco and that pocketed lovely little wedges.
Yeah, I know.
And most of it didn't go on what it was supposed to go. It didn't go on logistical stuff. Probably £5 went on the app, right? Let's face it.
Yeah, probably.
And that's a joke, by the way. For saying, oh my god, he thinks they spent £5 on the app.
Well, they might as well have. It didn't bloody work.
They might as well have, yeah. Well, the thing is, I think I'm confident enough to say this. You know the check-in app? Remember the check-in app?
Yeah.
Boop, right? I had a version of the check-in app.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I had a version. There was a real version that did all of the QR codes correctly. It had all of the information at the same, except for it didn't have any of the other stuff in it. So it only had the scanner. So you weren't getting any notifications, you weren't getting any of that or anything like that, because one of the developers got pissed off and released a bloody torrent of it. And he was like, yeah, have this one. Have this one. So, yeah, that was, and the logo was exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly I didn't use it, but I had it on my phone and I could go anywhere I wanted, just going beep. Oh, I had a great time. I had a great time during all of this. Realistically speaking, right? You could just go and watch some of my videos. I had a great time trolling them security guards. I did. I took some sick pleasure in it.
Yeah. So here we go. Aldo brings us this, which has completely been superseded already now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Trump will be indicted Wednesday. No, he won't.
No, he won't.
He was supposed to be arrested Tuesday and then indicted Wednesday, but won't appear in court till next week. But now the court didn't even sit. The committee didn't even sit. Right? So nobody's getting indicted at the moment. Nobody's getting arrested. And meanwhile, Trump's numbers are going sky high in the polls.
Oh, and by the way, you've got sitting Republican senators calling for the arrest of the Attorney General.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of the New York AG that's
you do.
Authorized all of this.
Mm-hmm.
They're calling for the arrest of that person.
And so they should.
This is very right. This is very. I think it's something to do with payments to Stormy Daniels. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But it's something from years ago, and
before he was
very
president.
clearly. And it's very, very, very clearly something that several other people have refused to indict him on.
Yeah.
Because they don't, and at the federal level, by the way, because they don't see a crime here.
Because there's not enough evidence.
And yet this one has turned around and gone, I hate Donald Trump. I got probably elected to my position on Donald Trump. I must do something against Donald Trump. That's all that's gone on here.
Yeah.
There seems I know it's cliche to use the term Trump derangement syndrome or TDS, but it does appear to be real. I don't like the guy.
Yeah, no, it is.
I don't like the guy.
That is real. I mean, look at all that QAnon shit and all that carry on that went on. You know, it is real. And tell you what else, there's another derangement syndrome.
Oh.
Sturgeon derangement syndrome.
Clap for Nicola! Come on!
So the dark side of the Union brings us this, which is this is Councillor Mary McMurty, SNP, she, them. Councillor Mary, right?
It's got to be a troll. It's got to be a troll. That can't be a real person.
Oh no,
that's got to be a troll.
No, it's a real person.
Fuck off.
That's a real SNP councillor.
Fuck off.
Yeah, no, it's true. There will be a clap for Nicola on every doorstep in Scotland on Monday, the 27th of March. Now they're fucking won't.
Oh man,
I'm gonna have to go
out
with a camera.
I wish I could come to Scotland on the 27th of March. Because I'd go stand on your doorstep and just go,
Look at what she writes about her as well.
I can't read it. You're going to have to read it out.
Monday
My eyes cannot
is a
see that.
Tremendously sad day for Scotland. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon's final day in office. But we should be happy for the years of joy and wonder that Nicola.
It's got to be a parody account. This is a parody account. This is a parody account. This is what they're like.
This is what they're like. They are nutters. I can't go on.
William says it's parody. I follow the guy.
It's his, but it might as well not be. Dark Side of the Yuns parody, but I'm sure Councillor McMurty isn't. Anyway, speaking of parody, what the fuck is Posobiec doing? Huh?
Posobiec is
He's
doing
lost
what
it.
Posobiec. Yeah, well, 1 minute I'm pretty sure recently he was going, oh, nobody should be following Donald Trump, blah, 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 and then the next minute he's having dinner with Donald Trump.
Yeah, but what's he doing here? Why is he tweeting that?
Who cares?
But that's not fucking Ukraine. That's Desert Storm.
Oh, that's shock and awe, yeah.
Yes. And it's obviously Desert Storm. That's nothing to do with Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah, I'm going to say this for the third time tonight. I really need my glasses. I keep getting harassed, right? I keep getting harassed by the optician to book an eye test.
Mm-hmm.
I need to take them up on it. I do.
You think they might be right? They might actually have a point.
I can't see this.
Well, going by the amount of sugar you drink and the fact that diabetes cuts down the amount of blood that you're going to get to your eyes, you will probably go blind at an early age.
Look, I don't know what you're talking about, John.
That's probably happening right now. So
I don't know what you're...
What the hell is Posobiec playing about, at? Is he doing this deliberately?
No idea.
Or is he being an arse?
No idea what he's talking about.
Do you remember the tweet we had on Monday about running out of conspiracy theories by 2025? Mm-hmm. The New York Post
Fuck off.
via Bell has come out with this.
Do you know, I'm staying out of it. I'm staying out of this one.
A study has found
because that's from 2018.
Yeah, but that's true. But it's still in the New York Post, and it's still what they printed, and there is something in it. So it's crazy.
I mean, it's crazy that a so-called mainstream newspaper would fucking write that article.
But what's even crazier is who did the experimentation in the first place?
Well, this was who?
Oh, well, that's the question. Who thought it was a good idea to copy the Aztecs?
Who thinks it's a good idea to do a lot of the things that they do? Who thinks it's a good, scientists, especially medical scientists? I'm convinced there is psychedelics and hallucinogenics going on, right? For them to come to the conclusion to have an idea. Oh, let's see if people can get medicine delivered better to their system by shoving it up their ass.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? You don't just think that up. You don't. These are the type of people that write fucking Rainbow. That's what these people are.
Who's the famous guy that used to do that with cocaine or something? Oh, was it Rod Stewart?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it was Rod Stewart. He wanted to protect his singing voice, so he used to take drugs by shoving them up his ass.
You know, the band System of a Down, the heavy metal band System of a Down.
Yeah.
They write all of their songs on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's what creative people do.
Yeah, right.
I'm telling you, it's what they do.
So Taylor Swift brings us this one.
Mm-hmm.
So the BBC put out a story, and the story is arrest after man set alight near mosque in Birmingham, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is fair enough, because that's kind of how everything gets reported these days. But of course, the left have to go into overdrive because it wasn't a white person Set alight.
This tweet from Narinda says, elderly Muslim man attacked viciously in an Islamophobic / racist hate crime. Ethnic minorities live in fear in UK. That's true.
No.
Correct narrative.
No, they don't. I don't think they do. They don't live in fear. It's the other way
around.
I
hope they don't. Well, I hope they don't.
No, I don't think
I hope nobody lives in fucking fear.
Oh, fucking grow up, man. Of course people live in fear. Of course they do. I mean, look at the people in Wakefield and places like that. I bet they're living in fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't you wipe your arse with a Quran? And
but
somebody's trying to take your door off.
I mean, it's going back to the very first, the preamble. That is ridiculous that you can be banned from entering a country because you're going to make granted an untasteful, shall we say, protest, but it wasn't going to harm anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't going to harm anybody. It was just going to be, I'm going to go there, I'm going to be an arsehole for 10 minutes because that's all the paper book's going to take to burn, and then I'm going to fuck off.
Yeah, so the thing that gets me is, if, regardless of your favourite sky theory or whatever, right, theory that you have, that you subscribe to or don't subscribe to or believe or don't believe in, right, if your belief is so fragile that you're not allowed to damage a book that's written about your belief, then really, you've really got to have a good look at yourself. And the problem is that Islam never seems to have moved on. It never seems to have adapted at all to anything. It's got very rigid rules. It's got a very rigid set of rules. And it's got a very, very violent way of looking at solutions to certain things.
Well, that's in the book. So
it's in the manual, yeah. That's in the book, yeah.
I can't, obviously, I can't speak to it, but at the same time, this is why I don't think a blind faith in anything is good for anybody. It's cult-like behavior at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You should always be, even when it comes to your own belief system, when it comes to your own religion, even, you should always question everything. Always. And that's why I'd call myself religiously an agnostic, right? Because whilst I don't believe in a sky fairy or a spaghetti monster, I'm willing to be convinced. I'm willing to have the proof shown to me, and then I would, in fact, change my beliefs.
Well, and that goes for a lot of things. Like, I would have been happily to have been convinced in March 2020 that doing a certain thing was a good idea if someone could have shown me the evidence to suggest that that was an idea I could get behind, but nobody ever did.
Nope. No.
I mean, they tried to browbeat us into doing things, and they tried to persuade us with propaganda, but no one actually showed us any real evidence that it was working and it was a thing worth doing. In fact, the contrary was the case.
I mean, Harold asks, why do you need proof, though? Takes the fun out of it. That's like asking a magician to show you how it works. Because you can't just put blind faith in something, because what if it is all wrong? What if you put blind faith and devotion into something that you believe wholeheartedly to be true, and then you find out you've wasted your life? Yeah. You've wasted your life in that rigid set of rules, in that set of belief. You were wrong. Now, are you going to look back in regret if you do that? Probably. You probably would.
Don't look back in anger.
And I'm not saying that I'm correct. I'm not saying that I'm right in that there is no deity, there is no God. I'm saying I don't know. And I'm saying I won't put my faith in one until I do know.
Okay. I
think that's logical. That's all I'm saying. And before we do move on, we have Teresa in the chat, who is in Sweden, by the way. She says, you should be in Sweden. 2 terrorist attacks in 3 years for me, which is ridiculous. Yeah. John actually visited your beautiful country, didn't you? Very recently, about a year and a half ago. He did.
I didn't spend any time in the cities, though. I was away up north, and it was beautiful.
But you did have a lovely normal cinema experience, didn't you, while you were in Sweden?
Yeah.
It was great. It was great watching it through your eyes, shall I say, whilst I was having the same experience here, but only because I was forcing them to make me have it.
Yeah. So Dagny says French authorities have decided to forcibly return to work, striking employees of oil refineries due to a shortage of gasoline at gas stations in many regions of the country. How do you do that?
Well, you're going to have to round them up, aren't you?
But how is that legal?
It probably most definitely isn't, John.
The mind boggles, doesn't it?
But how is much of the stuff that Macron's brown shirts are currently doing legal?
Yeah,
I've been watching them in action, just walking up to random women and smashing them around the face. How is that legal?
Right, here's a poll from David Curtin. Okay,
right.
Now, I'm not saying it's statistically relevant. It's got 11,000 votes, which isn't bad. It's better than a YouGov poll, right? Now, I think that's quite telling, though, because that tells you that the people aren't behind any of the governments.
It doesn't tell me that.
What does it tell you?
It tells me that the people that David Curtin may be in an echo chamber with think that.
Okay, but...
Because Twitter's not real life.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. But I tell you what that result should be. 0% on bloody all of them.
Yeah.
That's what it should be.
Well, no, because he did ask what one's the best.
None of them are the best.
Well, one of them's got to be better than the other, surely. So you're saying they're all equally shite?
Yeah.
No, I don't think they are. So anyway, here we go. And Edward or William tweeted this with a bit of he wasn't quite sure if this was correct or not. And yes, this is correct. This is in the Quran.
Moving on.
So there you go.
Moving on. Just moving on.
But you have to remember, though, that if you do that with said sheep or goat, it is then considered unclean and can no longer be consumed and must be killed.
Jesus Christ.
No, Jesus has got fuck all to do with this, mate.
Fucking hell. Oh, God. Jeez.
So Dan Wooten's jumping on the sturgeon bandwagon. So the SNP has fallen, says Dan. Scheming sturgeon leaves behind a member exodus, a woke joke, gender bill, and a police probe into her husband. Where's the 600k, Peter?
Where's the fucking ferries, Nicola?
Oh, the ferries aren't. The ferries are still in the dock.
I've been banging on about the ferries for years now, haven't I?
You've been banging on them.
You've been
banging on for a few years yet, mate. I don't think they're due until
William
2026.
says, cheers for putting my tweet up, lads. That was William in the chat.
Hey, well done, mate. So,
well done.
So apparently they've lost like half their members, the SNP, in the last year.
Lost a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Lost a lot of them.
So
yep,
it's not looking good. And you're back to it. This is why she's leaving, because she's a narcissistic toad, and this is the best opportunity for her to look good. Because
and she
anybody
does not
replacing
want
her
to be held accountable. She does not want to be held accountable for what she's done to you people over the last 3 years.
Yeah,
this is what it's mostly about. And 2 days ago, John. Well, actually, it's March 22nd, isn't it?
Yeah.
Today. This is the day it officially started for everyone. It was announced on March the 20th.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
March the 22nd.
That's true.
So
3 years to the fucking day.
Walter White here.
And all that's happened is I'm looking almost as old as him, for God's sake.
Okay, calm down. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's summing it up. This is what we've been saying for the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's always been about her. From her surrounding herself with Narentes to the selfies, the endless details of miscarriage, the BBC sponsored daily COVID briefings. She's been dreadful for the country. Good riddance to her and her lying husband. And
she also,
I hope
she was supposed to be. She was supposed to submit herself. Well, she was asked to make herself available for. It was either Police Scotland or the Parliament, some kind of probe. I cannot do it. I cannot do it, she says. And at the time she's supposed to be in this probe, she turns up on fucking Loose Women.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. Talking about...
She did!
What was she talking about? Something... Oh, it was something ridiculous. Something about should we go braless on a Monday.
I mean, I know that there's been a lot more swearing than usual in this show tonight, but come on. Come on. She really does not want to be held accountable for anything. They're going to hold me to account. Quick, get to London. We'll go on Loose Women. Why? Jesus Christ.
So...
Oh, God. The Last of Us is happening.
Yeah. Apparently there's a deadly strain of Candida.
Isn't Candida essentially
thrush?
Thrush, yeah.
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 So the thing that gets me though is one of the other reports said with a 60% kill rate.
Bollocks.
Yes, I think bollocks. But you see, the thing is, most people have got some Candida in their system somewhere. So if you die with it.
Oh dear.
You see where this is going, don't you? Don't you? You know where this is going.
I'll only believe
he died. Did he die from it or did he die with it?
Well, who knows? Who knows? But I'll only believe this when I start seeing the thrush zombies walking around.
Yeah.
That's it. Right? If I start seeing the thrush zombies and they're running around and trying to fucking eat people.
Yeah.
I'll think twice. I'll go, we should probably worry about that. But otherwise, nope, I'm all good.
So, do you think you might be suffering from what would you say that?
Prosopagnosia.
Yeah, prosopagnosia. I no longer recognize people I thought I knew.
Go away! Go away!
That was another one from Bohemian Atmosphere. Bohemian Atmosphere is a new one that's popped up in my timeline and provided me with a couple of tweets today. So yes, I don't think. And then our friend Latimer, he's back on. He's come back. Heroes of Lockdown tell us just how hard they work to oppress and imprison us. Right. This is the biggest load of pish that I've ever looked at in my life. And I can't look at Telegraph adverts or Telegraph propaganda because I refuse to pay. Because we won't pay for them.
I won't pay for them.
But my God, that is absolute drivel. That is gutter journalism at its very best. Absolutely appalling.
I mean, look, Jonathan Van Tam, Jean-Claude Van Tam, as we called him around here.
Yeah.
The pandemic was like being on a war front for 2 years. When COVID struck, they found themselves leading the UK response. Now scientists and experts reflect on the highs and lows of the crisis. Well, let's for a minute pretend Twitter is real life, because Patrick Vallance has been absolutely embarrassed on Twitter in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Right? People don't... people, if we're to believe Twitter, people aren't listening anymore, shall we say.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. It's the biggest load of fucking pish I've ever seen. It really is. Who do these people really think? Do they think they are fucking Mel Gibson on the front lines in Braveheart, just going, "We're going to work so hard
I know,
to oppress you
front lines.
for your freedom."
The front lines, eating bananas, making TikToks, waiting for pizza, playing board games. The front lines.
Adam says in the chat, Sean Penn saved us all.
So another one from one of our friends, Mark Jangizi, who is that rare American, right? Who understands and uses sarcasm.
Oh, very much so.
I'm quite surprised that he actually gets away with it in his native country, because people, in fact, I have seen a couple of people rise to his tweets and think, why is he saying things like that? Because he's like...
Lost the stream again.
He's having a go
and
at
he's
them.
Back. It wasn't just me. We are back.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know.
What can you say?
I don't know. Anyhow, Mark says, I am completely and super totally surprised. Long coof is neither as common nor severe as initially feared. You mean PVT or PVF, post-viral fatigue, yeah? That.
It's all with the pish. It's remember when everybody used to get
fatigue.
ME?
Post-viral fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do remember. And I will say that my friend, Ollie, who me and John used to do a show with on the other channel, still living in a hospital, John.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Still live, and that's not because of long coof.
No, it's not.
He's now been living in a hospital for three plus months. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I can only tell you what the reality of the situation is, and people do ask after him sometimes in the chat. Still living in a hospital.
So it seems that the police never move on, right? Because this is the Met Chief Mark Rowley, right?
Right.
From Keek brings us this one. He denies that Scotland Yard is institutionally racist. He's a bit dodgy looking, isn't he? He reminds me of that guy Stephen House, who used to be the police, the chief constable in Scotland. He was very dodgy as well. He was very short as well. He was the guy that disbanded the road policing unit, but then took one of their motorbikes and ran about on it all the time. So this guy looks a bit dodgy. I'm just there's something about him that would give me the creeps.
Yeah.
Now the police have been doing this. If you've ever seen Ashes to Ashes, that's what the police was like in the 80s. So obviously they're still doing it in the Met.
I mean, Met Chief Mark Rowley denies Scotland Yard is institutionally racist. Damning dossier. Broken corrupt Scotland Yard as force is warned it could be broken up. Rape samples stored next to a lunchbox in the fridge. Sex toys slipped into coffee mugs and bacon left in Muslim officers' boots. I mean, I don't know if I would say that was institutionally racist, more than one person being racist towards another, perhaps, or is it even racist?
Yeah.
To mock a religion? That's a question that I think needs asking. Is that racism? Because the mainstream media would have you believe it is if you are mocking one religion, but then if you are mocking Christianity, if you are mocking Judaism, the Hare Krishnas, and they're a cult, by the way. They're all cults. But if you were mocking one of those, you wouldn't be called racist. But if you are mocking this single one religion, which is, a set of instructions to live by, essentially, and a set of stories, if you mock that is racism. And I just don't understand that juxtaposition, and I never have done. So if somebody could explain it to me, I would really appreciate that.
Okay.
I'm just saying, is it racism? It's a question that's got to be asked.
Yeah.
Because if it is,
I think it's just people clutching at straws to make themselves relevant these days, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, if we are going to collectively decide that, yes, this is indeed racism, then that same metric should apply to all. That same metric should apply to Christianity. You mock Christianity, you're a racist.
Mm-hmm.
If you mock Judaism, you're a racist. If you mock the Hare Krishnas, you're a racist. If you Hindus, you're a racist. If you mock what those peace-loving ones, Gautama Buddha and all that lot. You mock them, you're a racist.
Indeed.
Just saying. You either apply it to all or you apply it to none. That's my thought process anyway.
Yeah.
SpaceX. Aldo, again. I thought Earth was flat. I'm assuming he's using sarcasm here.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think he is, but I've got a question about this picture.
What's your question about this picture?
Why is it Earth that shape? Why is the shadow that shape? What's going on there?
It could just be the shape of the lens.
No, but the Earth looks circular until you get to the bottom, and then it's like truncated. What's going on? What's casting the shadow? I mean, you're meant to be in space. There's nothing big enough to cast a shadow.
Once again, honestly, I don't know.
I mean, if you're far enough away to see the whole Earth, surely you should see it as a circle if you're looking at the daylight side.
Perhaps the daylight side is on top. Because remember, there is no sense of up and down in space.
No, I understand that. But without knowing where the sun is, right?
Yep.
It's got to be behind you at some point, for that picture to be like that. So I don't understand how you get a shape like that.
Adam has just put a link for John about shadows on the Earth in the chat.
Yeah, okay.
Well, all I'm saying is, I don't know, but it could well just be the sun is above and casting the shadow that way. That would make sense in my mind.
Why would the Terminator not be circular like the Earth's meant to be? Why would the Terminator be a different shape from the Earth?
What?
Why would the Terminator be a different shape from the Earth?
Terminator?
Yeah, the line where it changes from daylight to night, the shadow.
Oh, that I can't tell you. But once again, it might not even be that the sun's on top. The sun could be at this angle, at the diagonal, shooting down like that.
The sun's not shooting down anything, right? Because the problem is the sun is so far away that every light ray that comes from the sun needs to be treated as if it's arriving horizontally.
Mm.
So you shouldn't have shadows like that.
So, but the answer is I don't know. You can have a look at that link that Adam's put in, perhaps, and perhaps that shines a light. I don't know is the answer. So let's move on, I think.
Moving on. So this is from May 2021, I think.
Okay, so Tyrant Emmanuel Macron's security chief Alexander Benalla faces criminal action after dressing up in police riot gear and beating up a protester. It looks like he went out to have a nice day out. Nice, wholesome day out.
That's him in the police helmet, right? He took a police helmet, put it on, and he beat up a protester. This was, I think, it wasn't anything to do with the current protests, but it might have been something to do with protests about other things. So it seems like he's maybe a little bit too hands-on, and he's hopefully going to feel the wrath of the law. But Macron is standing behind him, of course.
Of course he is. I mean, this is the man currently overseeing police force that are randomly beating people in the streets.
Well, this is the man who did away with the rule of democracy, didn't he? Because
of course he did.
He just didn't bother voting on the act to extend the pensions. He just said, we'll just go for it. We will just do it. Just do it. And I thought this.
We can have some wine.
I thought this next tweet was very appropriate because it's exactly what we say all the time, and it comes from Suzanne Seddon.
Yeah, she's in the chat right now. Good evening, Suzanne.
Good evening.
See you. She says, when the government, she's tweeted a picture here which says, when the government's boot is on your throat, whether it is a left boot or a right boot is of no consequence. And that's why this show is performed, I think, by a lefty and a righty.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's exactly right. It doesn't matter what side you're allegedly on, because the aims of government are all the same, aren't they, Ben?
Just say it, John. Just say it.
Control the population, feather your own nest. That's the aims of government.
Well, exactly. These people, we'll say over and over and over again, these people who want to be near power, doesn't matter if they're on the left, the right, the far left, the far right, which are the same thing, by the way. They want to be in power, and that should concern you because they want to have power over you.
And staying with Suzanne, the next tweet is the Right Honourable Andrew Mitchell MP, and I disagree. I don't think he is right, and I don't think he is honourable. But apart from that,
is this big? So he tweets here: "It is critical that girls have 12 years of quality education. I'm proud to launch the United Kingdom's new flagship education program in Kasai, which will support 60,000 children to attend school. At least 60% of these will be girls." And that seems a bit sexist, I'm going to say. Why would 60% of them be girls?
Okay,
50,
but
50?
it also seems a bit short-sighted considering we have failed our own children over the last 3 years.
Yeah, but not only that, this is the guy, I believe, who was recently accused of telling people to walk out of a debate.
Now, the Andrew Bridgen debate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he has actually emailed a constituent and said, "No, I didn't say that. I was thanking Layla Moran for making a speech," is what he is saying to his constituent that he said.
And
now, we couldn't hear what he said. Yeah, we couldn't hear what he said, so we can neither confirm or deny that, right? But that is what he's going with, so I have to report that as fact.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what he's saying.
But what I have to say is, have they never heard of the phrase, charity begins at home?
Well, absolutely. I mean,
we're supposed to be in a cost of living crisis. You've still got kids that are suffering tremendously from the last 3 years. My daughter being one of them, right?
My children.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's picking this up. And of course, they go back to school, and what do the teachers do? They go on strike. One of the frontline services that didn't lose anything during the last 2-3 years, didn't lose any money, where other people's businesses went to the wall and lost their houses and everything. But no, the teachers were okay putting out shite online, if they even did that. And now they go on strike for more money, and yet our kids are still suffering. They're still not been looked after appropriately.
I agree. I'll tell you a little story, actually. John knows this. My grandmother's taking us on a little surprise family soiree, shall we say, next week. We only found out, like, yesterday, or the night before, technically. But the school, who would normally say to us, "You're not taking the kids out of school," the head teacher's resigning at the end of next week, and she's like, "I can't give a fuck. Give me your form, I'll sign it." Well, hey. Basically, she's signing off anybody who wants to take their kids anywhere this year at the moment. She's like, "Give me your holiday forms, wherever you want to go, however long you want to go for. I'll sign them. I'll sign them."
So she obviously believes in the principle of fining people if they take their kids out of school.
Well, she did up until this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't know.
She just fucking does as she's told because she's another robot, another automaton.
Aren't they all?
Yep, they are. Make me sick.
Aren't they all? But she's retiring, so she's like, "I don't care.
Speaking
I don't care."
of automatons, this clown, Lagarde. So Christine, and this is from Ninny D again. Christine Lagarde admitting that if the central banks don't do a central bank digital currency, they lose control. This is the end game. Why? Why do they?
Why
lose
would
control?
they need control?
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, let's just think about something for a second here, people. Remember, a central bank is a private organisation. It's not a government organisation. It's not owned by you.
Tied to government.
What?
It's closely tied to the government, but it's not the government.
It's not owned by you. So it's not beholden to you. It's a private corporation.
So why on earth would they need control? Why on earth would they want control? Unless they want to control you.
Why should they be allowed control? They shouldn't.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't be allowed control. The only person that should be able to control your finances and what you spend your finances on is, drumroll please,
You.
That's the long and short of it. They're the short and curlies. You should be able to do whatever you want. And if a central bank digital currency were to take hold, then the idea of private transacting is dead. There would be no private transactions. You would not be able to. They would know if you lent your mate a brick coin or a quid or whatever they're going to call it, right? Or a brick quid. I don't fucking know. But if you lent someone that, they would know. And they'd be able to stop that.
Yeah.
As well.
That's a good point as well, because someone commented in the last show was about Bitcoin or something being set, and the code is set and can't be changed and all that. Yeah, that's the technical side of Bitcoin. But how's Bitcoin going to save us from anything? That's the part I don't understand. It doesn't matter how much Bitcoin you've got or where it is or whatever. How's it going to save us from anything, especially if the infrastructure goes down? I mean, what happens if what happens if the stream goes down right now?
Then
you people can't hear us. You can't hear us, right? So if the internet goes down, how do you buy anything?
Yeah, how do you buy food?
And don't say it won't go down, because if things hit the fan, the first thing that's getting cut is the internet, because that's communication, and they don't want you communicating if things are hitting the fan.
Suzanne makes a point here, right? Well, it's kind of a point, and I will push back on it a little bit. She says the global debt of the world is greater than the sum value of the earth, right? But money isn't real. Not really.
It's all a fabrication.
Right? At any point, we could reset our economies like that. We could wipe all debts. We could do what we wanted, really, because fiat currency is not based on anything.
Yeah, it's a fiction.
We could. It's a fiction. Your cash is not even actual money. It's just a promissory note. Really?
Yeah. But the thing that gets me is, and it was surprising. There are some really bright people who don't understand how fiat currency works.
No.
So the government says to the Bank of England, for instance, here's £1,000 of treasury bonds. The Bank of England prints £1,000. They don't print anything. It just goes on it's an electronic record now. So the Bank of England takes that £1,000 and goes, right, okay, so we multiply that by 10. So they then lend out £9,000 to each of the big clearing banks. And then those clearing banks then multiply that by 10 and lend it out to all the trading banks.
But all they're lending them out is literally digital screen.
Yeah, it's all just money and paper, right? So then you go to the bank and say, I want a loan to buy a house, and they say, right, here, and I mean, we're only dealing with pennies here, so here's £1,000, right? You pay that back, but you pay us interest on the money that we never had and didn't really give you, but you pay interest on that money. So who's making money on the money? The banks. Who's losing out?
The banks are making
everyone
else.
Because the money...
Everyone else.
I mean, say you default on a loan and you don't pay the bank. The bank's never lost any money because it never gave you any money in the first place, because the money never existed.
It's like when you go to the casino, the house always wins.
Yeah, but at least they're dealing with, you can see the chips, right? But when it comes to the bank, the money's an entry in a ledger. It doesn't physically exist. It never existed. They gave you money that never existed. They charged you interest on that money that didn't exist. And when you fail to pay it back, they don't lose anything because the money never fucking existed in the first place. That's what Western civilization is based on.
Like I said,
it's a house of cards.
Adam makes a good point in the chat when he says they wiped out individual currencies to bring in the euro, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and obviously they worked out the divvying out of the euro based upon the size of the economy at the time of each country, and it was probably very, very, very complex and convoluted to do. But They did, and they could wipe out all debt. They could wipe out everything right now and just say, look, everything's gone to shit. Everybody owes everybody else too much money. Let's reset everything. Start from scratch. Let's go again. And they could. They have the power to do that because, as John said, it's all simply, we don't have the gold standard. We don't have anything like that. Our financial system is based upon money on a screen. That's what it is based upon.
Numbers
on a screen. Numbers upon a screen. Now, and if the internet were to go down forever, those numbers on the screen would simply go away. They'd simply go away.
Yep.
And nobody would know who owes what to who.
Exactly.
Maybe that's not such a bad thing.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I know. Right. So we're on the funnies. See, there's plenty of time. We have plenty of time.
I think we've motored through this all pretty well.
Right. So this was a video, and there is a long and distinguished list of people standing there pretending, okay, to be doing what you think they're doing, right? Men and women, right? But my point is, one day, this guy's grandkids are going to turn around and go, Grandpa, why did you never say you were in an advert? Aren't they? This is like the Joey's hemorrhoid advert from Friends.
It really is. Let's move on. Back to Ninny D again. The FBI think they slick. Covering up the camera could damage your laptop.
And that's from the New York Post from 2020, right? It's an old one, but covering up the camera could damage your laptop. Yeah, really? I don't think it can. I don't.
It could damage the ability of. It could damage the ability of people like Apple and Google or whoever runs the operating system, Microsoft, whatever, on your computer to turn on the camera and spy on you.
Yeah.
I mean, I leave my camera uncovered in my laptop, but because it's a great fucking laptop, that the camera is shit. You're not seeing anything through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what about if you simply, put a bit of black nail polish over it? Just, nice bit of black nail polish over it. Is that going to damage it? Probably. But still, it's not really, is it? A bit of black paint.
What a load of nonsense. I mean, they really do think we're thick. I mean, it's like that. We're back to that Nord Stream story. It's like, oh, hold on. People are blaming us for this. We really need to put something out to say it's not us that did it, and I mean, who came up with that? Who came up with that and thought that it's not even a plot for a novel? You'd be laughed. You'd be laughed out the publishers if you put that forward, wouldn't you? I mean, nobody genuinely can take that seriously as how it would have happened. You just can't. It's ridiculous.
Moving on. Now this could be in the plot of a novel. Just put it on the screen. Just put it on the screen.
Captain America brings us. Fan poops an aisle near Hillary and Clinton. Hillary and Clinton at a Broadway show.
And Cat Turd has responded here with fan. Well, it was obviously a fan of the show because it certainly wasn't a fan of the Clintons, I would assume.
Why are people defecating in the aisle? What is all that? Why?
Hoping Hillary will tread in it, probably.
No, we've not all been there, Adam. We've not. I've never sat in the aisle of a cinema or a Broadway show. I can't even contemplate that.
I mean, it takes some balls. It takes some balls. It takes some balls. Just hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I can see the Clintons there. Let me just squeeze one out. Get out of here.
Here's another word from Nanny D. And this is true.
It did happen. It did happen.
It did happen. And please don't. I mean, it beggars belief that people fell for that.
It beggars belief that people followed the arrows around the fucking supermarket.
Yeah, look at that. You're getting your child christened or baptized or whatever. That's just, I mean, look at it. It's fucking ridiculous.
And that water gun clearly is not powerful enough to shoot that distance. Come on, man. Get a super soaker, for God's sake.
And look at the guy in the chinos looking on proudly. As his son gets
my child is being shot by the Heavenly Father with his holy water.
Right.
Stand on the sticker and let me shoot your baby. 6 feet.
Oh. Right. Are you ready? No, this is not. So. This is not a parody. This is the National, right, which is the SNP's newspaper. So Neil Henderson brings us this. The UK is actively undermining our overseas interests. Hold on there, bald eagle. Why has Scotland got any overseas interests? This is not part of a devolved government. And yet these clowns have gone out and opened many embassies in foreign countries to promote an independent Scotland. That's where the money's gone.
John.
Ben.
I think the last 90 seconds is going to be the channel's could cut down latest short.
Yeah, okay.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I've moved the slides on and I can still see the image of the priest and the fucking baby.
Well, this is a good one as well, and this guy brings up a good point. This is William again. So it is a good one, right? So it originally came from Dave, but original cartoon, live action remake. Original cartoon, live action remake. Original cartoon, go on, Disney, I dare you. Make a movie about a black man living in the jungle and being raised by apes. I don't think that was going to happen, is it? It's even maybe a bit too woke for Disney.
So, you... Right, let me compose myself a second. Right. But you do realise, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Disney are doing this for no other reason than to have people call it out on social media. They're not making a black Tinkerbell because they're woke. They're not making a black Ariel because they're woke. They're making a black Tinkerbell and a black Ariel because it will get them attention on social media. And then what they can do is say, our actresses were racially abused on social media. When they probably weren't for the most part, right? But they'll point to like 1 or 2 tweets, which will be absolutely abhorrent, and I will condemn absolutely any racial, tweets. It's not these actresses' fault they were cast in the role. They just went and applied for a role and got it. But they'll find 1 or 2 tweets and they'll say storm of online social media hate towards this, and it's free marketing for the movie. That's all this ever was. It's all it ever will be. They want the controversy. They want people doing things like this. So I can actually see them doing that to Tarzan. I can see it. I can see it.
I can't see them doing it. It's just it's a step too far. It's a step too far.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm not sure. I mean,
I'm gonna.
You've got a Norwegian mermaid.
Yeah. Well, okay, but we're going to end the show with the last one from Alex, and I think it's a nice, cozy, pretty picture, and it's quite well done, isn't it? The way it's been presented here with our little brown bear and our little chubby panda. The pressure is too much for the wrist. It's cracking up.
We'll just leave you on that for. And if you have enjoyed this show, then don't forget we will be back live here 9 p.m. Friday night with a much more ridiculous show than what we've just done tonight, I might add. Chasing Dissent All In. And then next week's shows, the times will be, Monday and Thursday will be jiggled around a bit, but we will let you know as we know what times they are. Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah, Monday and Wednesday next week. Ben's away on holiday, so there will be a show involving Ben, but timings might be here or there. But we'll give you plenty of notice. We'll give you plenty of notice.
We have to work it around what show my grandmother wants to see, and she is 77, so we've got to take it.
Next Thursday we have Ed the Techie and the Mysterious World of Spring-Heeled Jack.
We do. And then the following Thursday, Suzanne in the chat will be joining us.
Yes, we will have Suzanne Seddon on with us.
Yes, we will. So with that in mind, one more thing before you go. If you haven't, please click the link in the chat right now that sends you to our Rumble channel and go and subscribe over there if you haven't already, just in case John's channel gets attacked over here. We are streaming live on Rumble simultaneously as well. And if you are able to, only if you are able to, then please consider supporting us at patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or indeed Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent. You can also make a one-off donation at paypal.me/Chasing Dis. All of those links also in the chat. Nobody has to do it. What we really want people to do is like, share, and subscribe here on YouTube. Especially hit that like button and that share button, because we are quite close now to being able to hopefully somewhat financially support ourselves on this platform. We just need your help to push to those subscribers.
Yeah, we really need you to go out and evangelize for us.
We do.
We do, because
we do.
Unlike most channels, we seem to do it backwards. Who would have thought?
People watch and they stay and they watch sometimes for hours. And our subscriber base is our biggest viewer base, whereas unsubscribed aren't. Whereas most channels, it's the other way around. They watch little. The views all come from people who are not subscribed, and a low amount comes from the people who are subscribed. We've done it the other way around. We don't know how, but ultimately, in the long run, that might be a good thing.
Yeah, I think.
But we're just trying to push for that long run. So if you can help us just by hitting that share button, asking people to come and subscribe, we would really, really appreciate it. After over 200 of these, we hope you enjoy them.
And Friday night, or an hour later, remember? It's all in on Friday nights. Drink will be involved.
9 p.m.
So
I might
get yourself a glass.
I will be back, so I'll consider it.
And with that, I'd like to thank you, one and all, for attending this episode 209 of Chasing Dissent Live. It's been great for you.
See you.
Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.